Hi, everybody. Nancy Hart here, Whole Heart Evolution, and it is time for our midweek mindset tune up. And this tune up this week is going to be about a concept I call Drop the Kitty. And it was inspired by a story. Drop the Kitty is inspired by a story told by a friend of mine many years ago about her dog Jake. And I never met Jake, but I understand Jake was a big dog, and he was a happy fella and kind of happy-go-lucky. But happy-go-lucky stopped if you were a squirrel or a cat. And apparently one day the back door was cracked open and Jake somehow got out, bolted down the stairs, and found himself face to face and then cat in mouth opportunity with this kitty. And she realizes that he's gotten out the door. She runs after him and she looks down and she sees him with the cat in his mouth, and he's just kind of, I think he's a little startled. It's like, I got it, Mom. And she looks at him and yells, Jake, drop the kitty, drop the kitty. I would pose to all of us, are there any kitties we're carrying around right now that we need to put down? Isn't this an interesting idea? Whether it's something at work, whether it's something at home, kitty, of course, is a metaphor for the story we're telling about a particular circumstance, situation, condition we might have faced or be facing. Or perhaps it might be a story we're telling about, since we're in the holiday season and in get-togethers with colleagues and likely family or friends. Things have happened over time. And maybe Uncle Harold does something that everybody tells the story, well, Uncle Harold's going to do this. Or, hey, Aunt Mabel's here, guess what's going to happen? And a story gets told around that. And maybe in the midst of all of this, I just don't know that I'm grooving on these stories so much anymore. Maybe I'm not fond of what I perceive to be the behavior of either of these individuals. And if that's the case for you, and I know I have to be scrupulous with myself, because, I think all of us are hardwired as storytellers. But wouldn't it be more interesting, particularly if we're looking for a different result in a circumstance or an interaction we're having, if instead of turning the switch on the story yet again, we actually stepped back and took a pause and looked at the situation and go, let me get curious about this. I wonder if what I'm seeing is really what I'm seeing. And that old magic that if I would like a different outcome, perhaps a different interaction with, say, Uncle Harold, would I be willing to be curious and ask a different sort of a question of him that perhaps isn't assuming he's going to behave a certain way, that maybe gets at what's going on behind that, or perhaps just asks for something different? In other words, we give the benefit of the doubt. And by getting curious, maybe we can learn something more about the individual or the situation in which we're interacting. With the idea behind it, of course, that we'd like to actually change the result, change what we're experiencing. And we can't change what we're experiencing if we're telling the same old story. That true for you? I know it's true for me. That when I repeat a story and repeat a story and repeat a story, it's like wearing the grooves down, right? And yet if I'm asking myself for a different result, and yet I'm still telling the same story, something's got to give there. Something's got to give. I get to, if I want something different, I get to change me. So I invite us, again, I invite myself certainly, it's all, that's where it originates, myself, but I invite all of us, as we're navigating through this holiday season, if there's a kitty you're carrying about a circumstance, a situation, a condition, a person, your checkbook is your shopping. If you're carrying a story about that, carrying a kitty, why don't you be compassionate and put the kitty down? And just leave it be. Jake, put the kitty down. And explore ways to create a new result. Try it on. Let's do that as an experiment this week. Let's try that on. That if you're in a work situation or you're with family and there's either behavior you don't like or a repetitive story you can feel coming up about an experienced behavior, let's put it down. Let's see if we can generate new, generate different, generate compassion, generate curiosity, and generate a willingness to be open to what actually shows up. Because we might find Uncle Harold doesn't like being stuck in his pattern of a certain behavior or telling a certain story the same way. Maybe he'd like release too. And when we give ourselves permission to look and do and explore something different, we by law, by nature, offer another the opportunity to do the same. And it's a real gift for us all. So hey, guess what? Let's put down the kitty. How about that? And create something new that we might even love. All right, everybody, that's the story. Go build that bridge. Go put that kitty down. Let me know how it goes. I'd love to hear your stories about how this is working out for you. And stay safe, stay prosperous, drop that kitty. And I'll see you next week. Take care, everybody. Go drop your kitty.